Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got the tank review for the brand new Eastern Lights Era 2 Premium Heavy tank that's in the Season Pass as well, which is quite good. The BZT-70. If you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the BZT-70. What's it like as a tank? Well, it's pretty hit and miss, honestly. For me, it's either I do really big damage or not much at all. That's because this 180mm gun, yes, you heard that right, 180mm gun, is a big slapping gun. And it likes to miss. But when it hits, oh boy, it hits. And it is beautiful. But yeah, it does like a good miss, which means that some games go quite quickly and you struggle to do the damage because your gun doesn't hit the shots, and then you get eviscerated by ATGMs, because yes, it does get absolutely wrecked by ATGMs. Or you have those games where your gun behaves, you hit the targets, and oh boy, you do some big damage. And it is very satisfying. In terms of the mobility, it is a little bit slower for Era 2, but it's not too bad. The gun handling on it, like I say, is derpy, which means it does miss quite a few shots, which can be irritating, but when it does hit, it's glorious, because the alpha is the big thing of the tank. The armour on it has angles, which means that you can ricochet quite a few normal shots, and especially off the turret. But to be perfectly honest, you don't really want to be relying on the armour, as it will get just punctured by most rounds you'll face. And especially when ATGMs start going at you, yeah, your armour means very little, and they absolutely wreck you, which is a sad, sad time for the BZT-70. It does look really, really funky as well. It has these double tracks like a T95. As you can see, it very much looks like it's based off of that, which is a really, really funky looking tank, and it's just got a big slapping gun, which can be nice. Let's say it's not really a good tank, but it's also not really a bad tank. It just sits in that realm of extremely hit and miss. So without further ado, let's get into the statistics of this tank. So as you can see, you've got a 50km/h top speed with a 20km/h reverse speed. With 1400 horsepower engine, that is 17.28 horsepower per ton ratio, which means you do get to the 50km/h top speed of this vehicle. It can feel a little bit sluggish at times, but generally the mobility isn't too bad. If you were to help it out, you would get up to 55 km an hour if you were to run the traction system, for example. And you're a very heavy tank, actually. So if you were to hit people at 50, you're going to be doing quite a bit of damage with ramming, by the way. This thing could be quite decent at ramming. You've got 12% internal fire chance, which is on the lower end of internal fire chances, which is not too bad. 3.1k hit points is a decent slab of hit points to use. Actually, for Era 2, that's pretty damn high. 34 degrees a second on the track traverse is not the quickest, but not the slowest. It can feel a little bit slow because of the length of the tank to turn at times, but it's not too poor. 2.9 on soft is dreadful. 1.8 on medium and 1.3 on firm is not too bad. So these two are they're poor, but they're not horrific. That on soft is really bad, and you really will get held back in your top speed on soft terrain, which means you will feel sluggish, even more so on those ground types. 450 meters of view range is decent for an Era 2 tank. You got 32 degrees a second on the turret rotation speed, which means the turret does turn slower than the tracks. So bear that in mind. You really want to help that out if you can, so you can try and keep the turret traverse in line with the tracks. You got 1.95 accuracy during rotation, which is not that good, which was really not very good, to be fair. With 3.42 accuracy during movement, again, is not that good. You really want to help this out if you can with this tank, so you can keep the aim bloom down, as you do have a 2.7 second aim time, and that means you will feel that aim time a little bit, especially with how poor the aim circle will bloom out if you do not help it with gun stabilizer and all the gun perks. 0.38 accuracy at 100 meters as well is also not that great for an Era 2, which means this, like I say, it adds to the derpy feeling of this gun, and it does feel derpy. You do have 20 degrees of elevation, though, which is pretty solid for the BZT-70, with 8 degrees of gun depression, which is definitely nice for a Chinese-esque vehicle or a Soviet-esque vehicle like this tank. But be very careful with the gun depression, as you see this front two lights here. If you're trying to use 8 degrees of gun depression over the front, these two lights on the front can limit your gun depression, so you'll have 8 degrees up to here, but the moment your gun touches this, it'll bump up, and then you'll probably have about 6. So be very, very careful of that on the BZT-70. And then, yes, you've got an 18.5 second reload, which is a bit slow, which is 3,000 DPM. And then you'll bump that up, you'll get to about 13 seconds, and to be honest, for the alpha you have, 13 seconds is really, really nice. I'm not going to lie. When this gun hits, oh yeah, it hits. You got 380mm of penetration on the standard AP rounds, which is okay, it's not great. for Era 2, but it's also not bad. And to be honest, again, for the type of alpha / caliber it is, 380 is more than suffice. More than suffice for what you want to do. You've got 195 penetration on the standard HE rounds, which is fantastic, by the way, and 450mm of penetration on the premium heat rounds. You'll probably never take the heat rounds. I don't. I just take AP and HE. And don't sleep on the HE. 195 pen will go through so many targets. A lot of light tanks you'll go through. Leopards, MX-30s, the FV-4211's Cupola you can go through quite easily with this HE as well. The rears of lots of vehicles you'll go through really easily, which is why you're going to run the ammo swapper on this vehicle, and then you hit hard. As you have 950 alpha on the standard AP rounds, meaning you tend to roll between 900 and 1000, which is glorious for this AP. It does hit very, very hard, with 1450 damage on those standard HE rounds, and oh my goodness me, they are filth. When they pen, they are beautiful, and they will do severe damage to the enemy vehicles that they penetrate. Like I said, it's why you will be running the ammo swapper on this vehicle, so that you can use the round that is perfect for the situation, as these HE rounds are not to be slept on, and they will make your DPM insane when you do have it fully kitted out, as you will do some significant damage with them. You also have 930 meters a second shell velocity on the standard AP rounds, which is slow. It is below average, which is 1,000 meters a second. To be honest, that's for World War II. It's a little bit faster than that in Era 2, but hey-ho. Still, 930 meters a second shell velocity is slow in Era 2. It's very slow. 830 meters a second shell velocity on the standard HE rounds is also very slow, which means that you have to give a lot of lead to hit your targets in this vehicle. And it also makes hitting things like ELCs and Weasels pretty damn difficult as well when they're full chat on the move, because you have to give a lot of lead to hit them with it. You do have a 165% silver bonus, by the way, which is absolutely fantastic on the BZT-70, meaning this tank does make absolute bank. It makes very, very good silver, which is very nice for the BZT-70, and it's very nice for something you'll be getting in the Season Pass, meaning you'll get a very good silver earner if you do get the Season Pass, which I always recommend because it's always worth spending 2,000 gold on the Season Pass. So what do I run in terms of a crew and equipment? Well, I run food to make everything about the tank generally better, the advanced loader, the gun stabilizer. So the advanced loader to make the DPM better because, yes, the reload is terrible. You want to help that if you can. The gun stabilizer to get the accuracy during rotation and movement down as low as humanly possible so we can make this gun usable and try and feel less derpy. With the advanced reload to use the fantastic round choice that we have, so I can switch between AP and HE with free will, and I can load the right ammo for the right situation, because sometimes the AP is fantastic to use, and sometimes the HE, when you get YOLO by something like a 30B or any light tank or Leopard or something like that, you absolutely destroy them with it, and it is beautiful. So it's something that you want to do with this tank. Naturally, like I say, you want to make this thing quicker if you want to. You could just drop the gun stabilizer and run the traction system. You'll have to just put up with the aim circle being a bit bigger, but you will hit 55 kilometers an hour in this vehicle, so it's something that could be taken in this tank. It's down to you and how you want to play the vehicle, in all honesty. And then in terms of a crew, I have slotted it in the TR-125, pretty standard MBT crew, realistically, and that is Born Leader, Rapid Reload, 6th Sense, Steady Aim, Run and Gun, Snapshot, Deadeye, Rapid Aim, Track Mechanic. Now, I run Track Mechanic because I do tend to get stuck in Brawly, and because you have two sets of tracks, it does tend to get its tracks blown off, and especially with the way that you can play this vehicle, which is you can bait round corners with your tracks, it is very nice to be able to get the tracks back on quicker. Rapid Aim to make the turret traverse better so that I can get this gun snapped in on target, especially since the turret traverse is slower than the tracks, so I'll run Rapid Aim for that. Deadeye for the memes, to be able to get 6% increased chance of doing module damage, which means there's a higher chance of ammo racking, stuff like that. And it's very, very nice on the BZT-70, especially since you do have pretty good module damage. But again, it is a bit of a meme skill, so it might be something that you want to drop out for something like clutch braking to make the track traverse better so it does turn quicker, all that sort of good stuff. All three gun perks, because yes, this gun is derpy. You really want to help it out if you humanly can do, so that's why we run all three gun perks, with the Born Leader, Rapid Reload, and 6th Sense running on every single tank in Cold War. So let's have a quick look at the module layout on this tank. So that's where the engine block is on the tank. It is sort of towards the mid to back section of the vehicle, so if you shoot it there, you'll damage the engine. And that's where the ammo racks are on the old BZT-70. If you shoot the back of the turret, you will damage the ammo rack. You shoot the midpoint, it is that cylindrical shape in the middle, which means that you will also damage the ammo rack there too. And that's where the cruise sits in the BZT-70. So you can see with the armour, it has 380 on that mid plate with 350 on that turret front, which I do believe has no extra armour below it, which means it has, yeah, so it's not got any sort of composite armour or anything like that, which means that that is the raw thickness. It's 350, which is well sloped. But that means that, yeah, ATGMs hit this vehicle, they go straight through it most of the time, so it's something to be very, very careful of. And it is the type of armor, like I say, you don't really want to rely on it. You're going to get penned by pretty much everything, especially if they shoot you in that mid or lower plate quite easily. But you can get ricochets off of that upper plate, as this upper plate is very, very well sloped, meaning that can ricochet shots for you. And again, if you're using the gun depression, you can ricochet quite a lot of shots off the turret as well, which can be very, very nice. It's just if ATGMs go at you and very high penetration guns go at you in this era, yeah, you're going to start to get penned quite easily in the BZT-70. So let's have a look at the statistics of the tank while it's now fully kitted out. As you can see, we've got a 50 km/h top speed with a 20 km/h reverse speed because we've not helped it out. So we've still got that same mobility. Our terrain resistances have gone down a bit, 2.67, 1.66 and 1.2, which is still not that great, though, on the old BZT-70, meaning they do hold it back still a little bit. But we've not really helped it out that much without running something like off-road driving. You could run off-road driving quite easily on this tank instead of something like Deadeye to get those ground resistances down. 488 metres of view range, it means that you can spot for yourself quite easily in this vehicle, but it's also not the best view range in the universe for Era 2, because quite a few vehicles are starting to go beyond 500 quite easily. 38.92 degrees a second on the turret traverse is faster than the tracks, and that is very, very nice. That's what we were aiming for. 1.29 accuracy during rotation is a lot lower than it was, with 1.95 accuracy during movement, again, which is a lot lower than it was. Is that good accuracy during rotation and movement? Not particularly, but it's a lot better than it was, and the aim circle doesn't bloom out quite as much with the setup that we have, meaning the 2.5 second aim time that you've got it down to, you do feel, but it's not too horrific. 13.49 second reload is 4.2k DPM, which is actually not the worst DPM in the universe, and especially if you just think you're loading HE with that, oh yeah, your DPM goes through the roof in that regard, and yeah, it's beautiful. 13.5 second reload for that HE shell, if you're using that and penning that, is a beautiful thing. And if you don't pen that HE round, you're still splashing for like 500, 600, 700 damage, which is very, very nice on this tank in general. And you got it down to 0.31 accuracy during 100 meters, which is pretty okay for this kind of gun. It is a big 180mm gun, meaning it can overmatch a fair few plates too in Era 2, which is very, very nice on the BZT-70. But yeah, on the whole, the BZT-70 is a pretty decent tank. It's, I'd say, probably pretty well balanced, if we're honest. It's one of those tanks that is very, very hit and miss in the regards of that sometimes, because of the alpha of the gun, and then when it hits, oh boy, the damage racks up so quickly, and especially when the HE starts to work, oh yes. But when you have those games where the gun just decides it's going to miss, and you've got plenty of ATGM-type vehicles that can stay further away and just murder you with ATGMs, it can be pure pain in this vehicle. So that's why I say it's hit and miss. Sometimes I'm like, yes, I'm really enjoying this vehicle, and sometimes I'm like, oh, goodness me, get me out of this game, right? But that's the BZT-70 in general, in my experience. So without further ado, what I'm going to do now is send you into the replays where you can watch this tank in action, see how it handles, and see how it fares, and see what this vehicle is going to be like for you when you hit level 100 in the old season pass and retrieve it into your garage. So as always, everybody, I will see you in the replays. So here we are in the replays with the BZT-70, and we're on the first game, which is here on Hellfire Pass. And on Hellfire Pass, we're going to go to a position that I do like to take on this map from this spawn. Problem is, if your team don't go this way, it can go south very, very quickly. And that is if we go to a position like B7, C7 in that area. We can use the 8 degrees of gun depression that this vehicle has to good effect, which is quite nice. I like the fact that this tank has 8 degrees of gun depression. It makes it very flexible. And again, it makes it very un-Soviet-esque. Because a lot of the Soviet vehicles have, 5 degrees to 6 degrees of gun depression, meaning that you go on a ridgeline, they're very, very awkward. Whereas this, with 8 degrees, isn't quite that awkward. Although you will see the headlight problem in that they do limit the gun depression a little bit, which can just be a bit frustrating. And sometimes you're going, aha, I have them, and then the gun goes bump, and goes upwards and you end up missing a shot if you're trying to lead and stuff. It can be a bit annoying, but it is what it is. So yeah, from this position up here on this section, we can shoot people as they cross the 9 line, and we can support the people that have rushed to B0. But like I say, if not many of your team come this way, it can be curtains for you quite quickly, especially since they can get to this 9-0 line quite fast, and way faster than your team can, and it can just make it very awkward. So our first shot out at the Mobat there that was on the move sadly lands behind him, and that is the 930 meters a second shell velocity there letting us down. We get missed by an ATGM, use the ammo swapper, load to HE, 1382 into the lower plate of the Marder 1A1 there. And that is where the ammo swapper is very, very handy as we put that big shell in. We luckily bounce the T80 who's come in. We just can't quite keep the gun in line with him, and we end up shooting so far behind him there. But he's still full sending, ignores me, chases after the VADs, and I realise, okay, they've murdered the other dude, we're not in a good situation. Trying to find the shot into the T80, but sadly the VADs is just keeping himself in a position, I can't shoot him. But we put a big shot into the back of the T80 there, tracking him in place. And then we start using our mobility to get out of dodge. Because if we sit there and we stay in that position we're in there, we're just dead. So what we need to do is get back towards where our team are. Our team are on the other flank, so that's where we want to be getting to. The T80 is still giving us shots though. We put a shot into the side of the T80 and it does track damage only. Meaning we can't pen him there. But he is still tracked in front of us. Maybe we'll get the reload in time to put a shot into this T80, which we do. Penning him there for 882, setting him on fire, leaving on 469 hit points. And we're just still keeping ourselves running away because we just got to get away from the enemy team that's coming after us. We take a couple of shots there from an autocannon, which I'm assuming is the Marder. Switch to HE so we could try and splash the T80 to death. Sadly, it doesn't quite work out. And then we take an ATGM in the back there from the Marder 1A1. But now I'm in a position where I do have friends that could be shooting for us, so we switch to AP, wait for the Mobat to charge around the corner, finish him off there with a shot through the front of the Mobat. Always going to go through it with 380 penetration. So we switch to HE, and we're going to poke over this little ridgeline, because again I can go hull down here with my 8 degrees of gun depression, maybe shoot someone who pokes across the AB line. But we get spotted and detected instantly. It's like, what little invisible bugger is looking at me? Where is it? Is it the Marder? Is it one of the TDs? And I think I see the Marder, and there we go. He ends up firing an ATGM at us, pens us straight through the turret, because ATGMs do that. They will go straight through. But we managed to snap the shot into him for 900 odd, putting him down to a one-shot. Sad times that we didn't quite roll high enough to kill him there, but we'll take the shot, because it was quite a slim shot there as it went straight in. But that's ATGMs for you. That was an extreme angle. It still hit the turret, but because it hit the turret, he just penned us. We still had HE loaded, so I could try and splash the Marder to death, but the WZ-114 ends up driving around the corner. We get lucky, ricochet the shot, but he ends up ramming us for 800 odd. He finished us off, but we still got our 890 damage there, and he ends up getting finished off by the rest of our team, and finished with the game with 6.5k damage, the 1 kill, third class, with the 1186 base XP. A fairly average game there for the BZT-70 on Hellfire Pass. And it showed off the good and the bad of the BZT, really, in that regard, in the fact that the gun just misses shots that you sit there going, oh, come on, gun, right? And then also everything that shoots at you basically pens you. But you can occasionally ricochet shots like you saw with the WZ there off of our upper plate. And now we're on to the second replay, and this time we are on Westfield. And on Westfield, what I want to try and do, it's a bit of a risky strategy, to be perfectly honest, but I want to go to the position at G6 and try and shoot across at the people that cross the JK line. Now, it's a bit risky in Era 2, because naturally I'm not the quickest at 50 kilometers an hour, and there's a lot of very fast, sneaky tanks that could quite easily get to K0, and they'll kill us quite easily in this middle section. But if a lot of your team go this way, like they currently are, and a light tank is running a spotting run, like he currently is, it can be quite easy to get to this position and get some easy shots. So you can see the Rickety Panzer takes a few shots there, which means we couldn't quite get a shot at him. Looking for the shot into the back of the T80, but the shot flies high and misses him. And I'm just trying to get a bit of elevation here so that I can try and get some shots into the sides of these T80s as they may be exposed, because there's quite a few of my team here. and they're going to be quite easily getting shots into the T-80s. The guys at K0 will be pressuring them, which will be causing them to be a bit distracted, giving me easy shots. And to be honest, they seem to be the only ones here. So if I can get to the position at G4 in that corner, I should be able to get shots into the back of the T-80 and the T-80B, and then spot the guys at G4 as well for my team that are on this flank and get some easy assistance. We put a shot at the T-80B though. Sadly, don't pen, as we aimed at the side of the T-80B and we hit his front. He ricochets off our front, and then we get penned in the side. He's coming for another shot. Aim up the shot into his side. 1022. Oh, big slug of a round through the side of the T-80B there, putting us up to 1022 damage. And our light tank is now going in to finish off that dude, as the Weasel 1MK ends up shutting out the T-80B. The T-80 is trying to get shots at him though, which is exposing himself to us. We get a shot into his side for 963, and we're up to 2k damage with 187 assistance damage. Someone's popped smoke, which can be useful for us, because we can poke out the smoke. But it also makes it a bit awkward while we're trying to find shots at people. Look for the shots into the VADs. They're 941. We could have probably quite easily switched to HE really quickly there and done a big amount of damage, but we'll take the damage we got into him anyway. T-54D, and you can see the awkwardness of my gun depression here. I'm just trying to find it, but the headlight is actually stopping me. And even though we had most of the tank there to shoot on the T-54D, we hit the floor because BZT-70. The VADS ends up running past us, and I'm like, Mr. VADS, I'm not about that life, sir. You're going to take a hit for that. Guaranteed. Aim up the shot. 622 with HE in the side, because sadly we didn't pen the VADS because it has little bits of spaced armor on it, which end up taking HE rounds and just making them explode, which is, yeah, a sad time. It's one thing you've got to be careful of on the VADs is when you're shooting it in the side and in the front, it does have just random bits of spaced armor, which mean that HE rounds just detonate and don't always pen. So you might be looking at it going, it's a thinly armored box. I should pen that every time, right? Yeah, not quite. HE will detonate on the spaced armor, which probably has like 2mm of armor, right? But hey, I don't know what it is on the VADs at this point. But yeah, I digress. Just looking for a shot at the ELC, can't find him. Got HE loaded because I think maybe I can pen the side of the Magak. And oh my lord, it did. It did. 1500 penetration on the side of the Magak with HE. Whew. I knew that if I avoided the spaced armor of the tracks with the side shot there on the Magak, I was going to pen it there for big damage. And thankfully, that's exactly what happened. And we got big damage on that Magak. It was beautiful. I like it when these HE rounds pen. They make me feel very happy. So, with that beautiful HE pen in the side of that Magak, we're going for the last 3 tanks alive. We know the medium tank that's just charged, the Type 80-2, gone after our heavy tank, is probably going to die there. And we're hoping to cut off this ELC even SS-12. Still got the HE loaded because we could hit that guy hard, or we might just track him in place, leading the target. 1457. He slaps us on the move with an ATGM with pure ease, which is a sad time, and that happens all the time against those pesky little devils. But we did manage to lead it well enough to pen him for 1457. Oh my lord, yet again, that HE pen is... Oh, that HE pen is delightful. But we finished the game with a pretty average total again for the BZT-70, a fairly average game for an Era 2. And we finished the game with that 6.5k damage, 193 assistance, third class with the 1139 base XP. Again, like fairly average game there for a decent game for a Era 2. And we made 140,000 credits alongside of it as well, which is a pretty good time. So we're on to the third replay, and this third replay, we are on this map, which is Chaobang. And on Chaobang, what I'm going to do from the spawn that we've just got, and especially the good positioning we just got early on, we're going to go to the position at G4, because again, early shots, early big hitting shots is what we can get with this BZT-70, and we can try and take some big shots into the enemy vehicles as they cross to try and get to the position at K5. And there's, yeah, easy shots. And plus people do camp down at JK7, which means you can get some early shots with true vision as well. So we get spotted and detected. Now I'm just worried. You know when you get spotted and then detected goes off and you can't physically see, or you haven't spotted what is looking at you? You just know an ATGM's coming for you. But we tried to switch to HE there because I saw that ELC even SS12 in front of the heavy tank, and sadly the shot dropped low. And here you're seeing the headlight problem. We couldn't quite get the gun depression, and the ELC even SS12 poked up in the exact same spot, and we hit him for 1463. Oh yeah, we'll take that to the bank. But yeah, again, you're seeing the headlight problem where the gun depression goes, oh, I've got gun depression. No, I haven't. Yes, you have. No, I haven't. Can be really frustrating. We switched back to the AP really quickly there to get a shot through the Chieftain Hybrid 120. 900 damage there through that guy with the snap of the shot. And we're up to 2.4k damage. We're just watching the little ridgeline to see if the ELC appears again, or see if there's anyone that we couldn't see. And then we noticed the Weasel 1MK come round our side, and I'm fully expecting maybe the Hybrid 120 to do the same. So we want to get rid of that pesky little pest that's on our right if we can. And Pest Control was not at our service. Pest Control! I'm giving you a 1-star rating, bro. This is terrible. The pest is still going. Can we give you a 5-star rating, Pest Control? Why, yes. Yes, we can. Pest Control, at your service. Good night, Mr. Weasel 1MK. We're up to 3,091 damage. MX-30B in front of us. Load the HE. Upper plate. Oh. That was a lot. We penned that guy for a lot. We're up to 4,700 damage, and again, that's where the HE is beautiful. Switch to AP because we know we can kill him with a shot. Finish him off for 700 odd into the 30B there. We're up to 5.5k damage. Do not underestimate this HE round. Side of a Chieftain Hybrid 120. If I avoid the space armor, I can pen it. 1473. It avoided the space armor. Oh yeah. Let's go, HE. Let's go. That's what we want from our BZT-70, and this is where I say fully, do not underestimate the HE. And this is why the ammo swapper is crucial to this vehicle, because you have to use both rounds to get the best out of this vehicle. Because, those big hits, when you hit for 1450, they know about it, and it hurts, and it's beautiful. So we're up to 7,000 damage. Hello, Mr. Scorpion 90. Good night, Mr. Scorpion 90. Third kill of the game, 7.5k damage. And we're going to see if we can find some shots across the way at F7, because I'm expecting some people to be over there. So we're just watching out for them. We poke around the corner. It's like, okay, there was no one up there. Oh, that's an AMX-30. Load the HE. The shot goes underneath him. We had the whole AMX-30 in the sight there, and it went underneath him. Because RNG, everybody. But we're going to put around the corner, go for it this time, fully aim the shot, load AP to guarantee the pen, 800 odd damage into the AMX-30. Be there, he bounces his heat round, and we're up to 8.5k damage. There's something else over there as well, not just the AMX-30B. I can't see the 30 there, but we see the other tank. We fire the AP, and it goes above him. Thanks, RNG. Glorious scenes from you there, buddy. So I'm just backing up to not get shot by them. We've got a TR-125 directly in front of us. Put the AP shell through his side. Damage Zemrak, 950 odd damage. Up to 9.5k damage here, which means we're on a very, very good damage total. I want to try and get some shots into the TR-125. But if I can also get shots across the way and help my friends out, that's great. So we see the MX-30B. We loaded the HE, but the shot just dips and misses yet again. Thank you, RNG. That's this gun in a nutshell. Back end of the 30B, we switch to AP to guarantee the pen, shut him down for 737. The TR-125 gets the shot into us, and this is where we make a mistake. I think I've got more hit points than I do. But, spoiler alert, he has 550 alpha, meaning he kills me for 528. I thought I had near 600 hit points there. That was just a complete misplay, and he ends up shutting us down. And we're finished with the 4 kills, 10,198 damage. A really solid total there for the BZT-70 on Chowbang. 1,103 assistance, 2.2k blocks, ace tank of the high caliber. Really great game there for the BZT-70 on Chowbang. And that showed that tank off quite well, I think, right there. In the fact that, again, when things wanted to pen us, they didn't really have any problem. But when we use the HE to good advantage, oh, it slaps. And that's why this tank is so hit and miss. Because you saw the gun in that game. We had some shots that were beautiful, but they were a bit point blank. But as soon as we were starting to fire some shots at the tanks in the distance, The shots were going everywhere. We weren't hitting the shots we needed to hit. And then we just got farmed and we died. And that's the BZT-70, to be perfectly honest, in a nutshell. And it's hit and miss because you do have those games where you don't get those close-up shots like we had. And you get the further away shots like we had in that game. And you end up missing quite a lot. Everything pens you and you just die. And you sit there going, oh, I was a tank. And I failed. I'm sad. And that's BZT-70. But, as you saw in that game as well, though, when it does work, just how fast the damage racks up in the BZT-70. The damage racks up so quickly. You can go from having a mediocre game to a very, very good game in the blink of an eye because of just how high the alpha is. I mean, slapping people for 1009 damage is really juicy. So we put a big shot there in this game into that guy. The Stingray's coming in. HE shell, 1400 damage and a fire into the Stingray. That was a beautiful shot. Up to 2.7k damage. And we're on the new map, which is Ardennes, or the return map. It's not really new. The return map of Ardennes. And we've come to the heavy tank section, really, where I want to be, which is the town. Because I can limit shots into the tank. I can side scrape off of angles, bounce shots just like that, and slap out big rounds for over 1,000, like you've already seen twice into that T-72M. Sadly, though, that shot bounced on the T-72M, which I was fully expecting to go through. And that means that he is still alive. I was fully expecting to pen that guy's up a plate and kill him. But there we go. ELC SS-12 at the back. I switched to HE. And because of that split-second hesitation of wanting to pen him for 1400 odd damage, we ended up only splashing him for 150. And that's because we missed the ELC there. If we'd just fired AP, we would have guaranteed ourselves 1,000 damage and taken a lot of hits off, well, a lot of hit points off of Pedro there. We take the bounce, though, from the... well, we ended up getting track damage shot from the T-72M there because we side-scraped it out. Sadly, we snapped the shot and missed the T-72M, and I decided, you know what, I'm not fighting that brawl anymore. It's a bit of an awkward fight. I don't want to do it. Instead, I'm going to change flanks. If the T-72M is then enticed into the town, I should get some easy shots into him. But there's also the good thing of me heading to help the other flank and get easy shots into the side of the tanks as they cross. Maybe attack the guys at G4, and we'll have a pretty decent time. So we have the side of the T-10B. Put the shot straight through the side of the T-10B, finishing him off. And I realise, oh, those medium tanks know I'm here, and they've just killed my friend. There's a likelihood they could come after me. But I'm just going to check down the road to see if the T-72M was coming after us. He was. Sadly, we low-rolled, which means we didn't kill the T-72M. But I'm convinced these mediums are going to be coming after us. I'm fully convinced of it, so I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see if they do come round this corner. Because we're a bit alone, and that means this is going to be an awkward fight. So I'm going to back up, see if I can get out of this alleyway before they come round the corner. But, unfortunately for me, the T-72M comes round. He spots us, we finish him off with a HE splash, and then the Leopard 1 joins the fray. We ricochet the Leopard 1 because we angle. The other Leopard 1 comes round, and I'm thinking, okay, if this guy just rams me, I should be able to finish him off with the AP. He does that. Good night, Mr. Leopard 1A5. And now I've got the perfect tank to side scrape with in front of me. I can limit the amount of tank these guys have to shoot, and I need to just keep getting the damage into these guys. I need to have the right choice of round for the right moment. So we put an AP round into the Jaguar Black to put him down to a one-shot. And again, we're using our armor as effectively as humanly possible. Now I back off so the Jaguar can't shoot me. Put a HE round through the front of the Leopard 1 for 1400 odd, and think, maybe I can ram this guy to death. And he won't get a chance to shoot me. So we put one in with a little love tap, and then he backs into the dead Jaguar, and we ram him to death on that guy. Swivel round just in time to react for the Conqueror, finishing him off with an AP round, and we're up to 9.5k damage for 5 kills, and we've just created a tank graveyard right there. Very lucky there that the BMP misses us with the ATGM, and so I switched to HE so I can get a big pen on the BMP if he comes round. Sadly, though, we hit the tracks, and we do 628 damage only. He gets ELC even SS-12, and Pedro gets rid of Mr. BMP. We're up to 10,160 damage, 5 kills. I'm going to poke around the corners to see if I can find a shot into the K-Tank. Just double checking there's no ELC hidden away down that little alleyway. And this is where we're going to see if we can find that cheeky shot into the K-Tank. We see the K-Tank, top of his turret, HE 266, finishing him off for our 6th kill of this game. There's only 3 tanks left, and they're all ELC even SS12s, which means I'm probably boned, because one will just appear out of nowhere and finish me off. I have no real hope of it. We get spotted and detected, and the ELC even SS12 finishes us off, which was always inevitable. But we finished the game with a fantastic total, and that was a great, fun brawl. And we finished with 6 kills, 10,500 damage, 2.8k blocked, ace tank at the high caliber, the top gun, 1,712 base XP. A fantastic game there for the BZT-70, and what, again, was a really fun brawl. And that was where we really had to use the armor of it. Because, like I say, it's not really got any armor for Era 2, but it's got enough that because of angles, you can force ricochets, and that's exactly what we did. We finished the game with a really nice total for the BZT-70, the tank that you're going to be getting in the Season Pass. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success.